Since this morning, we have been playing to find which St. Charles, Missouri area team is the best. And now, Jesse, we are going to find out who will hoist that trophy at the end of the day. We have entered our 8-team single elimination bracket. Our seeding stage is over, and this is the final chance for these teams to make their name known.
This is where everything truly starts to matter. You don't get any second chances, single elimination bracket. You can see here at the very bottom, again, Hazelwood, Duchesne is our first streamed game. And then it'll be St. Charles and Fox Senior High School in the other streamed game. That'll be right after this. And over on the B side, we got the 1 versus 4 games, Francis Howell versus Confluence Prep, and then Fusion against St. Dominic. So we got a lot of great games. I won't lie. These games now start to get real. You're done trying to test out. You're done trying to adjust to this feeling. And again, the winner of this first game will face the winner of our second game in the semifinals with a chance to be in that championship game.
It's quite literally now or never for these teams. Half of them will be sent home after the conclusion of this quarterfinals round, and that's where we're going to get ready to head in. We've seen every one of these teams on the broadcast, Jesse, and we've been taking some notes, some mental notes, mostly physical notes, because there's a lot of teams, there's a lot of players, and we want to make sure that we can do them the justice that this truly deserves. And you can't look at this Duchesne and Hazelwood matchup without talking about how strong Hazelwood West has looked today. And honestly, looking at this bracket now, Jesse, this very well may be the team in this bottom portion that makes it to the finals.
I will say they benefited a lot from how this bracket turned out. I think they are the favorite to run this bottom half. I think the top half is a gauntlet. I won't lie to you. That upper semifinal is going to be disgustingly good. I'm not sure if we know yet what semifinal we're casting, but hey, if we can make a request, that'd be great to do that top half game. But yeah, this will be a phenomenal game. Again, we are still best of 3 until the finals. So we're going to Old Faithful first. Lijiang Tower, the most popular control map in the entire game first. And then probably the least popular hybrid in Blizzard World. And then the reworked Dorado as our map 3. And Saravasa, if we need it for whatever reason, if we tie Blizzard
World. So we got a very traditional set of maps to come our way today. One of them slightly reworked, so that'll be interesting if we get there. These are still best of 3s. As you said, we will not get back to that best of 5 longer series until the grand finals. So your time to make a statement is very short, to say the least. You have 2 maps in total, maybe 3 if you push it that far. And Lijiang Tower is like the ultimate control map. It is a favorite amongst everyone in the Overwatch community because you can play Brawl on pretty much any point. And the Overwatch community loves some Brawl. Hazelwood West loves some Brawl. Duchesne showed us a bit of a look there, here and there, but it depends, I think, who's going to be starting on that tank. Duchesne had some swaps back and forth, whether it was Duo or Humble, taking up that role, and neither of which really, they prefer the Sigma, right? A little bit of a Rissa here and there, but the poke style was their favorite, so they have to show us something a little bit new. It will be Duo on the tank and is teasing the Orisa.
Yeah, so I was kind of curious because Humble honestly looked not bad on the Orisa when they were on Midtown. But I wonder, we talked about this earlier a little bit. I wonder if this is just, hey, on control, we're going to run Duo on tank. Once we get over to hybrid, the possibility is there to swap it around. So I wonder if that was the case. Even Hazelwood as well. They also kind of shifted around a little bit. Bird went over to hit scan on their second map. So 2 teams were not afraid to swap it around. Come a second map, but for now, we're focusing on the here and now. The Reinhardt comp with the Venture and A out for Hazelwood at the Orisa. All faithful back.
We've seen how good Potato Cujo is at this Venture. If Duchesne aren't ready for this, there's just gonna watch out. Look below, because there's somebody lurking beneath your feet. With this Mei wall to isolate this choke point, and I think that's the big difference we're gonna see between the competition. There's more burst damage for Duchesne, but having the utility of a Mei wall from Nova to isolate certain players, I think is gonna have more value in the long run, just like it is now. Potato Cujo separates the tank from the team, and can go all the way into the backline without the fear of getting stunned. Great start from Hazelwood, even if it's a little scrappy.
Yeah, and I think they don't mind it being spread. When you run the Reinhardt, you know stuff's just gonna happen, and you kind of just have to deal with it. I already love that. Hey, the realization that, hey, we need to speed people back. Like, that is something. This is just like a mental thing. I love when teams do this because teams who are new don't realize how important that is. Now everybody's here for this fight, ready to go. I think it's Duchesne when they have the shadow.
Yep, absolutely cream. No shield in the way. This is the wall for safekeeping, but it's just a verb. Swing it around. One's a nail when you got a giant. Hazelwood, go ahead and clean their way through the second, right?
Yeah, and one ult, that's it. One ult is all it takes. And that is exactly what you want. You want, hey, one ult, you win the fight. Now you have Orbital Ray, and you will have the Venture ult here very shortly here from Potato Cujo, which we talked about earlier. They made quite a name for themselves during the first match, their stream game, I should say, today. And already 60% counting Duchesne, trying to figure out how they exactly want to go into this.
Kind of taking their time on figuring out what's the best place for entry. They opt to go around the far side. The hard part with this, we saw where this first battle took place, and it was those Maywalls of Nova. There were a problem. Wait, Potato, the ultimate all players went to the high ground. They never expected the ultimate goes completely down the drain. Great planning from Duchesne, taking an unconventional route. Now a couple that mirroring the Reinhardt gameplay, but not enough. We don't have Orbital Ray to match all of the chaos that's happening on the screen. Nova chucked a Blizzard out too, and Hazelwood were too far ahead to be caught. Control center, Brawliest, all the points on Lijiang Tower will go, of course, to the Brawl team in Hazelwood.
This is the one that, yeah, definitely makes the most sense. Like, this, going into it, like, hey, yeah, if they go to Control Center, it's probably going Hazelwood. I want to see if it's Night Market or if it's Gardens. I think Gardens maybe leans itself more to Duchesne. Okay, and they do get it. Okay. This is where I think Duchesne have the best chance. You can kind of run a little bit of everything on this map. Night Market is even more rush-sided than anything else. But my thing is, if they're going to stick the signal, is it going to work? Because of the fact that they could just get ran over, do the Hazelwood special, and just be like, all right, bye-bye. We're going to run through you, hide to your back line, and we're going to win the fight.
Isn't easier, though, for Duchesne to do what they want, right? You don't want to fight nearly as close. You want to poke a little bit more out, have more room to work with Sigma, and just basically not get rolled over. Nova's Maywalls have just been too good. Like, Humble isn't bad. Nova just does it first, and usually the follow-up is there a little bit faster. The timing work with this May player in Nova.
I think they've kind of been the unsung hero of this team.
Oh, yeah.
Because this doesn't work unless you have the walls constantly set up some of these fights, or even just to put the worry in Duchene's mind, like, hey, this is going to happen. The walls are here. You got to play around it, and we've seen that hesitation already from them as they try and move into some of these fights.
And see, there it is. You have to be scared of what Nova can do. It's a great counter wall out of Humble, but you still find your backs up against one, lined up perfectly for Burb and Potato Cujo to cause chaos.
Yeah, you break one little hole in the wall, but it's literally just a fire strike lane that goes straight through for Burb. And again, this is the issue I think Duchesne is going to have this entire game. How do they take the pressure? Like, is there a way they can even deal with it, or are they just going to stick to their comfort and just pray that their style eventually will work?
Been able to do it so far. At least this Maywall doesn't actually result in elimination here. So Duchesne have an opportunity to move through this choke point quickly. Unfortunately, there's an Earth Shatter or Burb, and you just gotta deal with it. Humble actually went over to Venture, trades out 2 for 2, and tank for a DPS, and all right, this is what we like to see. Hazelwood punished for their over-aggression, and Duchesne are starting to move towards this objective with only Teaser remaining.
There's no way Teaser gets out, right? I was about to say, there's no way Teaser gets out. They won't recontest in time. They are going to recontest shortly after. Right.
Yeah.
Flip this back, realize, hey, nobody's really at full strength.
Potato, oh, that's the unfortunate thing. It takes like a second to get into the ground, and that's where Finn Bimo decided to strike caught the Venture player out and actually ended up saving it. Hazelwood could have easily taken that fight and won it easily, and now you just get to try to stagger these players out.
Yeah, I won't lie. If I was Nova, I just would have jumped. I think that stagger is going to hurt more than it's going to help. Granted, you have 4 ultimates on your team. You only need to win, I'd say, a fight and then maybe a stall coming in from Duchesne. So not a horrible thing here. That I want to look at because we talked about, hey, typically it's not great, but the memo actually got some value out of it during this game earlier today. So I wouldn't be surprised if they got more.
They've been able to make it work so far, but you'll have to see, because this ult fight is about to get chaotic. There's 5 ult buttons that were pressed so far, and only 2 deaths can result from it, but they're both from Hazelwood. They're not quite in final fight territory. With how much they just committed to that, it's going to be a pretty important one for them.
That'll be a very important one. And yeah, especially, yeah, you look at it, 3 ultimates already off the board. I think that's even 4 with the Invitational Flux. That is worst case scenario for Duchesne. Yes, Hazelwood used a few ultimates as well, but you're going to want some of those back. Get a few choices.
This is classic Venture gameplay.
Ooh, I would have got out.
That was ambitious, Potato Cujo, and might end up costing Hazelwood here unless someone does something insane. Bird is close to an Earth Jack. If he can build this up, I'd say there's a chance to stay alive, but staying alive needs to be the priority. The health bars falling relatively low, and there goes Crosstalk. Nova finds support. It's the second one now. Nova sniper on May. Not just about the walls, all around players. Potato Cujo finding a bit of a silly moment there. The team is there to cover for him. Claim Lijiang Tower for Hazelwood West.
Hazelwood, first map. Again, signs of life from Duchesne late on. I also think, yeah, that Venture gameplay a little bit from Potato Cujo. A little bit risky, a little reminiscent of some people I play ranked with.
Wow.
But hey, I'm not saying you. I did not say you. A certain person that looks really like me reminds me a little bit of their play. But this has been, yeah, this is a great showing. Again, when the Reinhardt comp works, it can be one of the best in the game. There's a reason why Space Station Gaming over in EU for OWCS, they're phenomenal. They're one of the best teams in the world right now because they run this kind of comp basically flawlessly. And if you can run it even close to that, like the Wildcats are right now, it is just so hard to deal with.
And, you know, I think there's a reason we see this style being played by multiple teams. And it's not because it's, I would say, easy to understand, but I think it has the least amount of fast-moving parts in a way, right? The setup and execution itself is a simple idea. You want to set up a Mei wall and set your Reinhardt up for a pin. You want to hold these close angles, go for a Venture burrow for these insane damage bursts. Like, the concepts, it moves slower. It gives you more time to think, and it's this rinse and repeat. You're less worried about what your mechanics do because it's easy to swing it. Just press a button to swing a hammer and not be a sniper from halfway across the map. There's a big difference in how that works, and I recommend playing Reinhardt Brawl for any team that's starting out and wanting to learn synergies like this, and the Wildcats are showcasing what that can look like once you have those basic pieces down.
Especially because, again, like you said, it's not like you need a whole lot of aim on tank, but it is the easiest to coordinate because it is one of the biggest tanks in the game. And it's basically, hey, you stay behind the shield, you play around the shield, you try and get your Ryan into a great position. And even though you look at it, it's such a basic view, to have it work at this level is incredibly difficult. So that's why you can see, especially when you have a great rush team go against, you know, a team that's kind of learning it, the difference is very much there. And I'm not saying that's what it is here. I think Duchesne actually they're definitely getting there on the rush. You can just tell they feel more comfortable on, or they feel more comfortable with the Sigma variant of rush, which is just a lot more complicated in its pieces compared to the Hazelwood Pride.
Yeah, and I think that what Duchesne wants to do, it's a different style of game. You want to play that longer range, kind of poke them out, have an option if they go close, but overall, Duo looks way more happy playing the Sigma, having a shield for close comfort, not having it up close and personal. And I think this is why the map of Blizzard World is much more favored to what Duchesne have wanted to play this whole time. It's almost bad luck of the draw for them to have to play Lijiang Tower against Hazelwood, a team that will just run away with any type of brawl map. This is going to be much more manageable in comparison.
Oh yeah, this is way more manageable because of the fact, yeah, the Rhine is not going to work until probably third phase. If you try and run the Rhine anywhere else on this, yeah, you're going to struggle. You're going to have issues. It is just not a super fun time. But the fact that, yes, you can run your poke style, which is not, especially on this point, it is phenomenal on this map as long as you don't get your head taken off. So,
That made me a little nervous. No role swapping this time. Potato Cujo will remain on the DP. Yes, these shots are a little bit too close for my comfort, especially because Potato Cujo can one-shot Humble. Humble cannot one-shot Potato Cujo. We'll be going over to mirror the Ash instead, so that's much more comfortable for this team. But this is kind of that slow burn that we were expecting to see after the
yeah, especially this part of the map, it's incredibly difficult. It is almost like Eichenwald, where you have to win 2 fights to get this thing, okay? And that's why they're actually okay. Not the swap I thought we were gonna see. They will go over to the Rhine. My guess is that they're either gonna try to rush over the members who are on low ground, because there's actually a good amount of players here on low ground for Duchesne, or they're gonna insta rush high ground and force the Ash. But they're not gonna go low.
Or you could just pin at the Sigma and goodbye, Duo. That's a 1-2 swing. No more Sigma at all. Hazelwood, they're going to back to their bread and butter. Reinhardt rush. Burb leading the charge as usual. You just gotta stay.
Yeah, I like that they at least realized like, hey, they're not playing high ground as much as I thought they would. Let's just do what we love doing anyway, and let's see what they can do. And that's what allows them to get the point. There definitely could be a recontest. They only just got the second pick.
A little bit of room, but Potato Cujo and Burb are actually in house. Both the supports are down, and the Reinhardt acts a brick wall of defense for the point. So Hazelwood successful on their attack thus far, and we'll get this payload moving.
Payload moving on, and that's arguably the hardest part of this map at all. Granted, this part of the map also isn't the most fun. I wonder if for Duchesne, granted, their support line typically would be pretty good. Like, Greg Juno is one of the best in the game right now. But the fact that, even though they get that phenomenal pick there, I think against the Reinhardt, you just kind of get ran over if you don't use the ring more defensively, which it's hard because you want to use the ring offensively. You want to go in and just help the team, but sometimes against the Rhine, you almost have to do the opposite.
You want to play further back. You want to make the Reinhardt shield or just the character itself take as much damage while crossing these open areas. You don't have these corners to hide behind, which is why Nova needs to make them. For Hazelwood, this Maywall, near perfection. Burb just has too much health there. Earth Shatter put on top of it. Nowhere to run. Hazelwood, maybe a slight bit overkill in terms of ultimates, but at the end of the day, got the job done.
Got the job done. That's all you really need to do, and especially because, hey, you have so much time still. 3.5 minutes here for Hazelwood, and they have Bob to throw in. They could have a sound barrier later. They're in a great spot. Yes, there is plenty of ultimates for Duchesne, and that is not what you can.
And Duchesne, he still got the ultimates. They could win this. The problem is getting a touch. And as I said before, Duo doesn't want to play close to this team. Finn Bimo, the best character to even attempt the touch. And even though they get 2, it's simply not enough. Hazelwood have way too much presence on a front line to make the changes, and Duchesne are going to have to bunker down for this 3rd point.
It's also just the fact, again, they get the stag. Yeah, it seems to take so long for Duchesne to be able to actually get back into a solid position. And it's not even as much their fault. Like, they're playing positions really well. It's just the fact that Hazelwood are getting such early picks. They set themselves up for an advantage. And they always ensure that if somebody is straggling along, they can also fight them.
Hazelwood they're chasers, right? They chase down the eliminations that they see as possible. We'll use a Bob as a bit of a rather neat shield, if you could say. So once that ultimate is down the drain, Hazelwood accomplish what they want to, and that is stay in this fight with all of your players still alive, ready for a re-engage. The sound barrier, though, that's where you get aggressive. Everyone over 1,000 HP and nowhere to run for Rustpuck or Duo. And this is what we're used to seeing. Burb getting up close and personal, smacking a couple people with the hammer.
Yeah, they just love getting up into the opponent's drones. Like, hey, I'm here. Hello. Like, you can't ignore me. There's no way for you to ignore me. If you ignore me, then you just die. Like, that's just how it is against a Reinhardt this aggressive. And again, Shatter's online. They're going to be watching to see when those shields are up, but nope, never mind.
Oh, that's a stun! Great play from Rusthawk. Made sure that there was no escape from Burb. Otherwise, he might have gotten out of there safe and sound, and we'd be seeing a much different outcome.
That could put very, very differently. And that stun doesn't go across you. Yes, Burb was low, but they couldn't turn around, shatter the entire team, and we could be talking about this map being over by now. But instead, that stun gives them time. This card continues to regress. And we also go from like them having a great time to they could be pushing in the final minute.
I mean, but that's another Maywall set up. Legends has to overextend to attempt to heal Juo, and it's just Blizzard. Like, this is Nova. Even if Nova isn't the one in the kill feed, he is the reason that Hazelwood are getting the opportunities to get eliminations and push this part even further. 4 meters left to go, and with Humble not standing a chance at a contest, Burb takes to the spawns all by himself, and only one more team kill to end it all off. Hazelwood will get a full cap with about 2 minutes to spare.
Yeah, this is. I maybe jinxed it a little bit, saying, "Hey, they may have just a tiny bit of time if they cap." This is again the fact that Hazelwood can make a composition like this work so well on a map that it just shouldn't. It shouldn't work on this map because of how open it is. This final phase, yes, the rush makes sense. And the weirdest thing is, I think it worked the least on this part of the map compared to the first and second phases. That is not right. The fact that it happened that way is an insane testament to Hazelwood, to understanding how this composition works. They know, yes, it's not going to be the greatest, but they can really take advantage of how this works. And now they're going to take back the speed aspect. There is no Juno. There is no Lucio in play. They're going to play slightly more defensive, and it's more heal focused with the Baptiste and Greg on the support line.
This has just been incredible looks from this team, and I like it. I like this change. You don't have the speed as much, but I wonder if they're expecting to have either a poke or a dive. Duchesne, what they've been doing hasn't exactly been setting the pace that they want to. Nova has caused way too much disruption to that, or rather initiated in a way that Hazelwood West can succeed. And now that Duchesne are on attack, Jesse, it's their turn to set the pace and decide how this game ends.
Yeah, it's now their pacing. I don't mind the Orisa against the Reinhardt. That was what?
Okay.
What 2 shots to the man.
Potato Cujo just got outsniped. Simple as that. Humble needed a way to break in. Great. Humble will do just that for you. And that's an easy thing to do, people. Especially from that far away. The problem is you can't move through this smoke super easily, and you're still afraid of Nova's Maywall. Burb is way too deep in. This is a very punishable offense. Surely Burb doesn't love, right?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But no! Pumping the killing. Nova gets another elimination, and Hazelwood West are somehow still standing.
And the fact that Nova lives through that as well, they were so far away from the choke point. They get Jabsoned away, and they're able to make it work. And now they're looking. But their issue is, if you look to the right, you got Burb. You look to the left, you got Nova. It's a lose-lose, depending on how you want to go.
Not to mention Potato Cujo's back and sitting on the high ground. It's unlikely for Humble to hit another 2 icicles like that again, and you got to try to go from another angle. Not sure if this is going to do you much better, since you now have 2 smaller doors to work out of, but Duo can bust their way out. I'd say what happened to Finn Bimo? Just got pancaked between both of the tank players. Not something you see often, for sure, but Duchesne are still going to try to win it without their player, and getting Pyro Inferno is the best spot. Perf doesn't have healing anymore. He can no longer be this aggressive and live through all of that. Then will get themselves to the point, and I'm very glad they switched up the way they were attacking the point.
What is this game? What is this? They had no right to win that fight. Another icicle. Let's add another one. Oh. It's so funny. I'm losing word at how this is going on. There, yeah. No. But the fact that it looks so in favor. Like, so in favor. You're in an enclosed room with a Reinhardt. That is exactly the place you want to be. But you're able to pop the Terra Surge. You find Pyro Inferno. The rally goes off, but it doesn't do enough in time to save the rest of the team. and there is no recontest. It is the perfect way to go at that if you are Duchesne. And now you do give yourself an opportunity because all you had to use was one ultimate to get through one of the hardest, honestly, one of the hardest points in the entire game.
And this is Duchesne. You had to find your second win somewhere, because this is still a best of 3. If Hazelwood West win this map, then Duchesne, they're going home in, well, technically 4th to 8th, 5th to 8th place here, and if they can keep this momentum going, it'd be awesome. Unfortunately, they never really cleared the high ground, where most of Hazelwood West's support lines have set up, making them untouchable in this situation. Burb can push up, the Earth Shatter still goes off, and the Hazelwood having a retreat.
Hazelwood retreat, and yet these shatters are just too good. Burb understands that, hey, you don't need to get 5 every time. If you get 2, you get 3, and you can ensure at least that, hey, at least 1 or 2 of those players are going to fall because of the shatter. That means it's worked. You don't have to get too greedy with it. I think it's been a really nice adjustment from, you know, some Reinhardts at this level think, oh my god, I need, even just with ultimates in general, oh my god, I need to get 5, I need to get 5, I need to hit 4. They understand, hey, we can hit 2. We can hit 3 and be perfectly fine.
And that's all it is. Like, there's a lot of players that would get greedy. They want to be that hero for the team, but it's a team game at the end of the day. You can't do it all, but that is an incredible play from Vimo. Jumped out of the ground and prevented Pyro Inferno from landing in the Immortality field. Vimo, another one now, coming in from the Venture player. It's just Nova. It's always Nova. And that's what we've been seeing, is Hazelwood, if for some reason they can't get the execution off that they want, it is a Nova. Come up and bring them back.
Yeah, Nova, I think right now, let's just jokingly say if Hazelwood wins this, like wins the whole thing, you could argue Nova's the MVP.
Oh, yeah.
Because without the Mei, this entire composition does not work. In fact, Potato Kujo would like to enter that conversation as well as they find the big Vimo, but I don't think it works. And I respect Humble for trying, and I think their ice cream shots have honestly been really good. The walls just hadn't been as good.
I mean, even look at it now. The ice block is there, and the rest of the teams, their entire positioning is forward, but Potato Kujo, no one checks their 6, and that's 2 for Hazelwood's Cassidy player. Now it's easy cleanup from here on out. Like, these are the constant blanks, the positioning that Hazelwood West, they know how to set up these pinches.
They know exactly what they're doing. And it's honestly incredible to see. Like, hey, we know what we're doing. We know what the game plan is. And we know, hey, if we just make a little distraction here, we can get a Deadeye off. If we can make a little distraction over here or set up this Mei wall correctly, we can ensure a pick onto someone from Bourbon. Now, yeah, okay, that got
no.
5 now. Now you have to go and
No bait! Nova
was bait!
Nova's out of position. Let's go get it. But they were for Burb, waiting in the wing to lay them all flat on their back. It's still flippable. Duchesne found a couple of eliminations here and there. Hazelwood tried to bamboozle Duchesne, but they're having none of it.
The fact that they flipped that is awesome. I will say, Burb kind of just dashed out like, nah, I'm out. I didn't want any part of this. And they should be able to. Amazing. What a play, but that is it.
Oh my god! Just got launched over the rooftop. It's still Potato Kujo on the high ground, uncontested. Nova with Bird, whatever else is available. Vimo can only do so much for Duchesne at this point. 21 seconds, all that remains for this team's lifeline.
They need to go fast. They don't have a ton of time to really work with. And the worst thing, Tiny, 0 ult. They don't have anything ready. Ideally, they want to try and get the orbital ray from Legend. Humbles try and touch. They get the touch, but they can't recall out.
I mean, at least the game isn't over yet, but Hazelwood are going to make sure it ends here. And now, one last hurrah from Potato Kujo. Deadeye held long enough. And that will go ahead and do it. Hazelwood West High School is moving on to the semifinals.
Moving on, Duchesne sadly bow out in the quarterfinals. But Hazelwood, again, they're continuing that name like, hey, we could be a team to look out for. We could be the team that takes out one of the top dogs. And so far, they're showing exactly why. No matter where you look on the team, there's a name. And I think that was the most important thing that we saw.
Oh.
That transfer was nuts.
So crispy.
But the fact that no matter where you look, you have a playmaker here. They're not just counting on one player. They're counting on multiple players. Hey, in this moment, it's up on you, Potato Cujo. Next one, it's up on Nova. Next one's up on Burb and the supports. And no matter where you look on this team, they're just playing phenomenally. And now they're in a great spot in that semifinal. I don't believe we actually know who they're going to play against because that will be our next stream game. So they now have time to watch this one to see who they will be playing in that semifinal.
At the least bit, you'll be prepared, but I gotta say, Hazelwood, you gotta be feeling pretty dang good after
Yeah.
that last win. Star-studded roster is the best way that we can put it, and we'll see them later on in the semifinals, but we're gonna have to find out who will be meeting them there. We got the home team, St. Charles High, retaking the stage against Fox Senior High, the rematch from the second and third place match last year. We're gonna go ahead, see how that ends right after this.